but we are under yellow flag conditions. Now, what's happened to Marius Barryberg? What happened to Marius Barryberg? Because he's suddenly dropped all the way to the back of the field. Now, that is terrible news for Marius Barryberg. He's gone off the road and rejoined. So Marius Barryberg, essentially, his race has just started, but he's already over half a lap behind the rest of the field. So now it all comes down to Tord Rogstad. Are we going to go racing this time by, or are we going to be under slow zones? We are indeed green, 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 green. We're up underway at Varna in the final of the Senior X30 here in the IAME Nordic Cup. And Tord Rogstad leads the way. Alina Lee Rolfsen second place. Then Philip Svensson. Sebastian Svensson is in fourth position in front of Max Anderson, Vilma Svan, Alexander Johansson, Dennis Bjerke and Nicholas Stottersven ahead of Max Carlsen, Verti Varnanen and Jonas Berglund. So we're in race trim as out in front it is Tord Rogstad. Alina Lee Rolfsen is not happy, down to fourth position. By the look of it, she seems to be really aggrieved with the way she's been shuffled back to P4. Both Philip Svensson and Sebastian Svensson have gone through. Everybody else just trying to work their way through on the opening green flag lap. But out in front it is Tord Rogstad who leads the way. Tord Rogstad leads the way here in front of Philip Svensson and Sebastian Svensson. Alina Lee Rolfsen in fourth position ahead of Vilma Svan. And then Dennis Bjerke, who has worked his way forward to P6. So some great racecraft in the early stages then. Several drivers trying to work their magic forward, but I'm afraid for Marius Barryberg, it really is game over. He finds himself half a lap behind the rest of the field at this late stage, and there's nothing really he can do about that. But there's great midfield battles down to the hairpin. Drivers still battling away, hoping for a race win or two to come out of the woodwork. Few overtaking moves on the back straight. So Tord Rogstad leads the way in front of Philip Svensson, who is going to be pushing on this next lap. He's really going to be charging after Rogstad. Svensson in third, Rolfsen in fourth, fifth position. That is the Kart Republic of Dennis Bjerke in front of Alexander Johansson, Vilma Svan, Nicholas Stottersven and Max Anderson. Max Carlsen in P10 in front of Verti Varnanen as Philip Svensson sets the new fastest lap of the race, 0.2 of a second quicker than the race leader, Tord Rogstad. And Philip Svensson really is pushing this now, the Charles Leclerc chassis. He's really going for it. This could be a bid for the victory now from Svensson. Tord Rogstad really is pushing hard to try and get away, but it's not going to be easy. Tord Rogstad's under severe pressure now from Philip Svensson. Alina Lee Rolfsen is working very hard to get back into third position past Sebastian Svensson, and it looks like Alexander Johansson has lost the place to Vilma Svan, and not only to Vilma Svan, but I think also to the 408 of Niklas Stottersven. So a bit of a shuffle then as the drivers work their way through the battle for first, the battle for third, the battle for fifth. Very close indeed. And that's the move on the inside from Alina Lee Rolfsen. She gets into third place past Sebastian Svensson. So that's Rolfsen into third position. Very nicely done from the Tony Kart driver. So Alina Lee Rolfsen now into third place, chasing down the leaders once more. But if Tord Rogstad is going to struggle to fend off from Philip Svensson, then Alina Lee Rolfsen is not out of the woodwork to go for the victory. And up the inside, that's Vilma Svan going for fifth position, but running wide as here comes Niklas Stottersven round the outside. Alexander Johansson! What a move in the final bend to get alongside Vilma Svan! He's going to get some support from Max Anderson, who will dive in up the inside to go with Vilma Svan. And it's three wide in turn two. Drivers really shuffling this. Excellent racecraft. So Tord Rogstad still leads. Now back up the inside of Vilma Svan. That's a big defensive move. But it looks to me as though Niklas Stottersven has got through there on Vilma Svan, who now goes back down the order behind Carlsen. Goes behind Anderson, I should say, sorry. So it's Tord Rogstad and Philip Svensson. Then it's Alina Lee Rolfsen in third. Fourth position for Sebastian Svensson. Then it is Alexander Johansson, who's done brilliantly to get back up the order in fifth position. Really worked his magic to get further forward. The wind is increasing, 13 laps to go, and I think there's a little bit of rain in the air. So this race could change dramatically in the next few minutes if the rain starts to fall. It's been fantastic racing up to this point so far though, but Tord Rogstad is under massive pressure from Philip Svensson. Svensson is right there, down the drop to the hairpin. Svensson is having a look at the inside line for Tord Rogstad, but Rogstad still leads it. Rolfsen in third behind them. Fourth place for Sebastian Svensson. Fastest lap of the race came through last time by for Philip Svensson. He's going to be getting impatient, sat behind the leader Tord Rogstad. So now we're going to get a furious battle. Svensson looks like he could be firing up a move here on Tord Rogstad. Tightens up, looks for the move into the first couple of corners. 12 laps to go in the Senior X30 final and the chance to get into the IAME Warriors final in Spain. Great racing everywhere you look. No driver is prepared to back down from the fight. And Tord Raugstad holds on from Philip Svensson for the time being. Rolfsson is still there in third, and she's doing a terrific job. Fourth place for Sebastian Svensson. Then behind them in fifth is Johansson. Then it's Dottersven, Bjerke, Andersen, Svan. Very close start at the moment, up at the sharp end of the field. Tord Raugstad and Philip Svensson still dueling for the victory. Rolfsson is third, Svensson in fourth position. That's Sebastian Svensson in the LGK. But can the Charles Leclerc chassis driver Philip Svensson get on terms with Tord Raugstad, who leads the race and has yet to win a race all week, don't forget. It's going to be really tough in the closing stages. But can Tord Raugstad get the victory? We've got a driver coming down pit road by the look of it. That is Oscar Spora, I do believe. Well, we've got a driver coming into the pits for what looks like a retirement. I think we've had problems already for Ina Karina Rostad out of the race after 4 laps. So Ina Karina Rostad sadly retiring from this race. And it looks as though so too has William Lundbo. So William Lundbo pulls off to retire from the race. The top 4 are tightening up here. And look at the squabble in the middle of the field. It really is getting hectic. So many drivers gunning for position as they squabble out of the final couple of corners. At least 8 drivers there in the mix, trying to go for a race move here or there. It's ridiculously close all the way around the course as everybody battles for position, but the leaders are still nose to tail. Tord Raugstad ahead of the man in second, Philip Svensson. But there are great races everywhere you look around this course. Philip Svensson still pushing on. Just in behind Tord Raugstad. Raugstad is hanging on for dear life for this victory. It's not going to be easy to hang on to. Philip Svensson still looking confident. A great battle between Vilma Svan, having just got through on the inside of Niklas Dottersven. Max Anderson has ended up running out of opportunities there. It looks like he's got a hole in his front fairing. Never mind having damage to the front fairing. It looks like there's a hole in it. I've never seen a hole that big before in a front fairing. So Tord Raugstad again just defending from Philip Svensson. They drop down the hill up towards the hairpin. Still no overtaking move, but Alina Lee Rolfsson has well and truly dropped Sebastian Svensson. She's the one really making the difference here. Alina Lee Rolfsson could well be the one to challenge for the victory up against the 2 drivers up front. She needs to stay close, because if Rolfsson is close enough to the leading 2, then they tangle. Rolfsson could come through for the victory. 8 laps to go. You've got to stay hungry, you've got to stay strong. It's going to be really tough to break the difference now. But Rolfsson is catching up to the leading duo. Tord Raugstad leads the way from Philip Svensson, but here comes Alina Lee Rolfsson. She really is catching up to the 2 of them now. Tord Raugstad and Philip Svensson are really struggling to get away from the furious lady in 3rd position. Really pushing hard to catch up the deficit. Raugstad, Svensson and Rolfsson. 3 drivers in the fight for this victory now. Sebastian Svensson's trying to stay with them, but it's clearly Alina Lee Rolfsson that's got the setup and the pace to challenge the leaders now. 7 laps to go. Anything could happen. Stay hungry, Alina. You never know. There could be a big battle in front, and there might just be a chance to pop up and overtake both drivers. Here comes the move! Philip Svensson dives in on Tord Raugstad, makes the overtake. Rolfsson's now going to try and get through on Tord Raugstad as well, and she's there! 2nd place for Rolfsson. So now Philip Svensson's in the lead, but Rolfsson's in a 2nd. Raugstad is down to 3rd position, and I don't think Tord Raugstad's going to be happy about that. So now Raugstad has got a choice here to work with Alina Lee Rolfsson, who's clearly going to be quick. Can she close up on Philip Svensson? Svensson's your leader. Rolfsson in 2nd place. 3rd place for the former leader, Tord Raugstad. This is going to be a tight run for the last 6 laps. Alina Lee Rolfsson really feels like she could take the victory. What if she steals the IAME Nordic Cup from the jaws of defeat? Working hard here to tag on behind Philip Svensson. Svensson's going well in the lead of the race in the Charles Leclerc chassis, but it's a furious comeback now from Alina Lee Rolfsson. She could do this. Down the drop, she's actually dropping Raugstad. Now she's got a chance to go after Svensson, and she is the quickest driver on the track right now. Tord Raugstad goes faster than anybody in the 2nd split. She wants to be very careful here, because Tord Raugstad is bouncing back in this race now. Three drivers hunting for the victory in the IAME Nordic Cup 2024. 5 laps remaining. It's going to be so close, whatever happens. Dive in the final turn as more overtakes come in furiously. A very fast run. It's going to be so tight in the closing stages. But can Elina Lee Rolfsson make the difference and go after Philip Svensson in the closing stages? She's certainly got a fast Tony Kart underneath her right foot. Dropping down the hill to the hairpin. Back on the power. Rolfsson looking strong in behind Philip Svensson. Tord Raugstad down to third. He'll be kicking himself that he let them both go. But Philip Svensson might have pressure from Elina Lee Rolfsson now. She's got nothing to lose. Second position isn't going to be good enough for a World Finals ticket, and Rolfsson knows it. She can charge after Svensson now. 4 laps remain. And I can tell you that the fastest of the 3 of them at the moment is Elina Lee Rolfsson. Second position, definitely charging after Svensson. Onto the back straight again. It's going to be so tight all the way to the finish between these 3 as Vilma Svan gets the fastest lap of the race further back. And there's a yellow flag down at the hairpin. A yellow flag. We've had somebody off the road there. So yellow flags, no overtaking on the run down to the hairpin. Green flags as they come back up the hill again. So we've had somebody go off the road there trying to see who has fallen away from the fray. I think it might be Niklas Dottersven. So Niklas Dottersven has fallen down to the back end of the field. And fair play to Marius Barryberg. He has caught and passed Theo Thomason Ada. So Marius Barryberg has not given up at any point in this race and is actually going to close up with some of the slower drivers in this race. But Philip Svensson leads. Elina Lee Rolfsson still second, and it really is going to be tight between these 3. Elina Lee Rolfsson really is ramping up the attack now on the Charles Leclerc chassis of Philip Svensson. Can she get there? She's really starting to make the difference now. She'll never have raced harder than she has at the moment. Don't forget, Philip Svensson already a race winner this weekend. So too is Elina Lee Rolfsson. And Elina Lee Rolfsson obviously represented her nation in the FIA Karting Academy Trophy last year. Such a prestigious honour, shared, ironically enough, by the man who gives his name to the chassis in front of her, Charles Leclerc. Around the hairpin, Vilma Svan bangs in another new fastest lap. But how close is Elina Lee Rolfsson going to be to Svensson this time? She takes another 1/10 of a second out of him. The gap between them is 3/10 of a second with 2 laps remaining. Can Elina Lee Rolfsson do this? Up the hill. And Elina Lee Rolfsson's really going to have to pull something special out of the bag here to take on Philip White. But as they come through the final few corners, your winner in the IAME Nordic Cup 2024 is Philip Svensson. Such an amazing fight all the way to the end. Elina Lee Rolfsson misses out in second. Tord Raugstad so near but so far. But what a victory for Philip Svensson. An amazing final from Philip Svensson. Put all the pressure on Tord Raugstad. Picked his moment with a few laps to go. Was joined in the fight by Elina Lee Rolfsson, who just ran out of laps to take him on. But what an amazing race and what a fantastic result as Elina Lee Rolfsson and Tord Raugstad will join our winner on the podium, Philip Svensson. Such an incredible race. An amazing way to end this fantastic week of motorsport. And for Philip Svensson, it is a victorious result. The Charles Leclerc chassis driver, Philip Svensson, has totally eclipsed the field in a very tough race fight. You'll agree. And it is almost an all-Norwegian podium. In 5th position, Dennis Bjerke. Well done, Dennis. A fantastic race in the Senior X30 final. 5th position for you. If you go the other side of the 3rd, that will make a lot more sense when it all comes together. There we are. In 4th position, Tord Raugstad. Well done to Tord. Fantastic run. Very worthy and deserving place on the podium for Tord after a great week. In 3rd position, Sebastian Svensson. Congratulations, Sebastian. Excellent work. In 2nd position, Elina Lee Rolfsson. A fantastic performance from the leading X30 driver in the ladies category, second overall in Senior X30. But your race winner in the IAME Nordic Cup 2024 X30 Senior Final, Philip Svensson! Congratulations to our man on the top step of the podium, and in deference to him, the national anthem for Norway.